I met a gypsy.
I have people come up to me, which you would have the same thing where you're like, man, you've helped me so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this has been so great for me. I did this happened in my life. I changed this. What the myriad of things that you could take away from a podcast like this that has amazing people like yourself. And it's like, I love this. This fills my cup. And then I put this out into the world, and then it helps other people.
Yeah.
And then it comes back. That then comes back. So you can kind of, I think that's the way that we want to live, where it's like by serving your own interests, which I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serving my own interests by doing this. I'm actually serving the interests of others as well. And it's like, you don't need an ego for that. You don't need to be fueled by ego to live in that way.
You're never going to succeed at something competitively without an ego.
For sure.
Impossible.
But to a point.
And, to that highest level, man, you got to have ego.
Yeah.
There's no Michael Jordan, Kobe.
Oh.
I mean, come on, dude.
Gnarly,
you know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So but also the only way to succeed without an ego is internally, is in yourself, your own consciousness, your own way, because you can't have an ego. Because if you go to meditation and you're trying to strip things away, you can't have an ego, because now you're going at it competitively, and you're never going to compete. With your mind, it's impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks, I got control of my mind.
I'll stop the thoughts.
Well, tell me what your next thought is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, let's wait until you have a thought.
Yeah, but they're like, I go, tell me what your next thought is. They're like, yeah, that means you have no control of your mind. Your mind is thinking you.
Bro, 100%.
Think about it. Thinking about it. You have no idea what your mind's going to think next. So it's thinking you all the time, and the mind only wants destination.
Not many people actually know that shit.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to admit that to themselves.
Yeah, so the thing is that the mind only wants a destination. It needs an ending.
Yeah.
So that's like, let's say you meet some girl, and all of a sudden you're, oh yeah, man, okay, we could this, and maybe down the road, and we're to that, and then maybe we can get married.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. You haven't had coffee yet. You just ruined something spontaneous, because now your mind put a plan on it.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing as going into motocross. Everybody, let's say LA, okay, talking about Noah, just because I train him. LA is coming this weekend, right? Futures. So he probably in his head is already at the podium.
Yeah. I'm going to get this right.
Already at the podium, but today's Tuesday. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, is stop letting your mind create stories, because these stories will put pressure on you. I have to, I got to, I need to. You know what I'm saying? And then you go to this race with this story in your head that's already at the finish line, and you haven't even pushed through, you haven't even gone the first lap of practice.
You've still got 2 days of training left.
You're so far ahead of yourself that you're not focused on these little things. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the same thing as in life. It's like you're just creating this thing instead of letting things come spontaneous. So, and I go, look in practice. I go, how good do you guys ride? We ride great. I go, yeah, because you're going there because you want to. It's fun, and
it's free.
And you want to challenge, and you want to challenge. There's no have to, got to, need to. Once you go to the race, all of a sudden, whoop, mind switches, have to, got to, need to, and you ride tight. So it's the same thing in life as with situations. Instead of always having a plan and always trying to figure it out and always trying to know, because everybody thinks they need to fucking know everything right now. No, you don't. And actually, to me, it's a weakness. If you need to know everything and you need to be the smartest and you need to know more than everybody, that's a weakness. That means you are weak, right? Because it's okay to not know, and it's okay for someone else to be able to teach you something. And I don't think it's even healthy to know so much, because then you almost like you pigeonhole yourself.
Yeah, you lock yourself down,
because you know too much.
Yeah.
And that's why the dumb fat guy is always so happy, because he doesn't know anything. But then the guy that's super fit and this and that and smart and this, he's walking on eggshells because he knows too much.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's true.
And so, that's the thing. So try not to have so much of a plan sometimes. It's like, have an idea, okay, but let that plan come together.
Yeah.
Instead of being so fixated on something. And, of course, you can take that both ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Take that both ways.
What you said before when you said that if you like you have no control over your mind. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that you would have experienced living the way that you have over these last few years is that there's no sounds, there's no one to talk to, there's nothing, there's no like inputs coming at you, and there's just this stream of non-stop internal dialogue that just runs through your head. And I think that I can imagine that when you're out there, it would have maybe become like noticeable for maybe the first time in your life, as noticeable as it was. And I think that's really the secret to meditation, is that you're basically just sitting there to try and notice what you just said, that you don't have control. You don't know what your next thought is going to be. It's just a stream.
It's a monkey in a cage.
It's just a stream that's just being put forth. And then you learn that you're not the author of those thoughts. So why would you then feel things as a result of that?
Yeah, why would you let it take advantage of you? So the same thing as being out there. Yeah, you can get stuck in a thought pattern. You know, like say being alone. Oh my God, I'm so alone. And then just
like when you woke up in the middle of the night and then you're freaking out, that's an internal dialogue that's making you freak out. But if you walk outside and you close your eyes and you feel the ground on your feet and you pay attention to the experience that you're having now, and then you look to the stars and you experience the stars and you feel the wind. Like if you pay attention to your experience, where you are in space right now, the raw data that's coming into you, and not just paying, like it's almost like listening to the play that's going on of your thoughts, because you can be in a situation like you were where like it's beautiful. When you would have woke up in the middle of the night freaking the fuck out, beautiful. Where you're at is beautiful.
It was great. I mean, I walked outside, I'm like, oh, holy shit. Yeah. His stars were just glowing, you know? So,
and the problem is you weren't paying attention to that. You were listening to the voice that was in your head that you have no control over. But we identify with that as me, as I. And that's what the ego is. And that's how the ego derails that train.
And it's totally true. It's like, even, you know, I've got to the point now where, okay, when the mind starts to race, okay, come on. Gone down this road.
Do you think,
so now I'm sleeping and I go into meditation, you know, I just pay attention to my breath when I'm sleeping, and then my mind stops. Boom. That's all you got to do. It's really just go to your breath, go to your breath, go to your breath, go to your breath. Right. And so, going out there and being these places, and sometimes being, you know, that mind just going on and on and on, and you can't stop it. It's like, all right, you know what? All right, fucker. All right. And I've done this. I said, all right, fucker. And I sat there. I said, okay, if we're so alone, we need to find the problem, because this is just stupid. Okay. And I had an inner dialogue with myself, like a conversation, going through everything. Oh, okay. It's that. I dissected that. No. Okay. Oh, yep. That. I dissected that. Nope. Oh, well, it must have been. It has to be that. No. I couldn't find a thing. And so then I just said, well, now it must just be fictitious. My mind is just making up a fucking story. Or it's passed down in my bloodline from maybe my grandpa, this and that, you know, maybe having, or dad or whatever, having abandonment things. And that's true. Or it's just kind of like in humans, you know, from back in the dark days, you know what I mean? That when we didn't have that, because you got to think about 100 years ago, I mean, you could be out on the plains. You could have had no telephone, no nothing, no car. You could be completely alone only 100 years ago. Think about that, right? So it hasn't been that much time that now we're all so suave, right? And so those are the times, and once I recognized that, then that kind of made a big change, because then once I saw that energy come up, I could stop it. You know, and so that's what it is most time we're just reacting off things, reaction. But once you start to kind of like say meditation, that you start to see these things, you start to see this energy, these emotions bubble up, because now you're sitting there quietly. Now you start to recognize. So before it's like that guy wearing his dirty shoes, and he came into your house and messed up his shoes and then he left. You know, you got all in this mindset, and then 2 hours later you got out of it and you're like, fuck, now why was I in that? You know what I mean? Then you start to recognize the guy starts to knock on the door. That same thought comes on. It's kind of bothering you. Like, okay. Then after a while, you start to see that little fucker come up the driveway. You know, you start to see this energy start to come up of loneliness or anger, and you're like, hold on. Hold on. And then after a while, the guy stops coming by your house because you're not recognizing him.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing as in meditation with the mind. It's like barking dogs. You know, if that dog barked for a day straight, after a while, you'd stop hearing it, kind of, right? So it's the same thing as like with the mind. The more and more it's noisy as hell in the beginning. And that's why I don't even like to call it meditation. I just like to call it, hey, just sit.
Yeah.
Because, I can't meditate. Well, of course you can't meditate. There's no possible way you can until you probably do it for 15 years, you know what I mean? Or extensively. But just sit. Just sit and pay attention to your senses.
But I think, that's what it is. We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.